Okay, so you did it. You started a nonprofit, you've got this incredible mission, you're fired up, you're ready to change the world. But then comes the big looming question. How in the world do you get the money to actually do it, especially in your very first year? Well, let's break down that roadmap. You've put in all the work, right? You filed the paperwork, you wrangled a board, and you have this vision that could genuinely transform your community. The only thing missing is the cash to make it all happen. It's the question that keeps pretty much every new founder staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m. Where's the grant money? So, can you actually land grants in year one? The short answer is a resounding yes. You absolutely can. But, and this is a big but, it requires a very specific, very smart strategy. You're not going to find the money by chasing after those huge, famous foundations. It's all about being targeted, being scrappy, and being really honest about where you stand. All right, before we even start dreaming about hunting for money, we need to have a serious reality check. There's a clock ticking in your first year, but it's not about how fast you can write a grant. It's really about how long it takes just to get to the starting line. You know, a massive chunk of your first year is just waiting. It's kind of wild. You incorporate, you apply to the IRS for your official nonprofit status, and then you just wait for that magical determination letter. In a best-case scenario, that letter shows up around month 8. Now, think about that for a second. That leaves you with, what, a 2 to 4 month window at the very end of the year to even start applying for grants? That's your entire runway. So now, picture this. Your brand new, beautifully written application lands on a reviewer's desk, and right next to it is an application from an organization that has years of financial history. Their Form 990s are all there, everything's documented, they have proven program results, and they probably know the funder already. You're selling a brilliant, powerful dream, they're showing the hard data. That's a tough spot to be in. When funders see these hurdles, they see one thing above all else: risk. When you have no operational history, no financials to show, and no data on past successes, you're asking them to take a huge leap of faith. Our entire job in year one is to build them a bridge of credibility, so that leap feels less like a risk and more like a really smart early-stage investment. Okay, enough of the scary stuff. Let's pivot to the opportunities, because they are absolutely out there. This isn't about giving up, it's about getting strategic. The key to everything is knowing exactly where to look and who to target, because a smart strategy beats everything else in your first year. Now, this chart reveals a really surprising and, frankly, a critical truth. Notice the biggest slice of that pie? It's not grants, it's individual donors. These are the people in your network, in your community, who believe in you and your mission. They don't need 3 years of audited financials. They are your absolute lifeblood in year one. Okay, so let's translate this into a real grant strategy. These are your prime targets. Community foundations are fantastic because a lot of them have specific funds set aside for new and emerging organizations. They actually want to find you. And local corporations and grassroots groups, they're all about relationships. If they know you, if they trust your leadership, that personal connection is worth way more than a long organizational history. And listen, just as important as knowing where to apply is knowing where not to. Please do not waste your precious limited time chasing after massive national foundations or complicated government contracts. They are built from the ground up to fund established organizations, and they require the very history you don't have yet. Put them on the vision board for year 3, not on your to-do list for year 1. So you get the reality of the situation, and you know who to target. Now for the really big question. How do you actually compete? How do you build a case so compelling they just can't ignore you? Let's dive into the playbook. Here is your plan, super simple but incredibly powerful. 1, target the right funders. 2, document your strengths. 3, be realistic with your goals. And 4, keep building that individual donor base. We've already talked about targeting and donors, so let's really zero in on step 2, because this is how you truly make up for being the new kid on the block. This right here, this is your secret weapon. If your organization doesn't have a history, you lean on the history of your people. You document your founders' 15 years of experience in the field. You go out and get powerful letters of support from established community partners. You show off the incredible, diverse expertise sitting right there on your board. You're selling the strength of your foundation, not the age of your building. So before you write a single word of a grant proposal, I want you to challenge yourself with this checklist. Can you confidently tick every single one of these boxes? A crystal clear program design and a polished, professional application that signals deep competence.
It shows the funder that even though you're new, you are absolutely ready to deliver on your promises.
All right, let's just pull back for a moment and redefine what success even means in your first year. It's not just about the dollars you raise, it's about the foundation you're building for every single year that comes after. I love this quote because it just captures the essence of a smart year one strategy. Every application you send out, even the ones that get rejected, is a chance to learn something. You might get priceless feedback from a program officer. You might start a conversation that leads to funding in year two. You're not just asking for money. You are formally introducing your mission to the entire funding world.
So, what's a concrete, realistic number you can shoot for from grants? This range, $25,000 to $50,000, is a fantastic target. And remember, this isn't going to be your whole operating budget. This is your seed funding. This is the money that lets you run your pilot program, collect that first batch of data, and build the very track record you'll need to go after those bigger grants next year.
So I want to leave you with this one question to kind of reframe your whole approach. What if year one isn't about hitting some giant fundraising number? What if instead it's about putting all the pieces in place, the compliance, the program data, the relationships, to become an organization that funders are actually excited to support for years to come? That is how you play the long game, and that is how you win.